What's up, everybody? This is David here for the RDG Soul Speak audio and visual podcast. I got my brother Brad Waples with me today. How's it going, Brad?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. So I want to jump right into it like always. You are a young, black, lock-wearing, creative business owner in the city of Reading, downtown Reading. What has that been like for you?
It's an experience. There's a lot of hurdles. It's a constant journey. But I think we've spoken about this many a times. It's having that commitment and having that tie to the community and tie to the city and wanting to do better and wanting the city to do better and knowing that it can do better.
Mm-hmm.
And after being here for so many years, growing up here, seeing the changes, seeing your friends, seeing everything that comes with being a part of the community here. I just wanted to be able to create something in downtown that kind of brought that energy, that feeling, that those things that I remember from when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I always liken it back to Sneakerville hip hop, like
Okay.
when Sneakerville first started on Penn Street.
Right, I remember
and
that.
They had the DJ inside. They used to do the block parties. They used to have the basketball courts
Mm-hmm.
outside. They used to really make it a thing on Penn Street, and it was like you could go downtown. And it was these nice summer vibes, and it was just a great place to be. And I kind of think that we don't really have too much of that, and that was my whole focus in trying to create custom it downtown. Our thing was to try and when we first started, that was our thing. We wanted to bring that Sneakerville hip hop vibe back
Downtown. Do you feel like you've done that with custom?
I feel like we're on our way. It's like I said, it's always a never-ending journey. It's always evolving. One of the things that we did that it was kind of an accident in just how we structured our company.
Mm-hmm.
When we first started, we started originally as Custom at Print. Me and my partner Tracy Soto, and we had Custom at Print out of a house that I had on Pike Street.
And that's what I was gonna say. So you did that before you even had the business space. That was just like straight out the trunk type of style.
Yeah. So
like straight out the house.
So my first real business venture in Reading was Grindhouse Studios, and that was circa 2005 to 2011, I think, or 2010, something of that nature. That was 333 Church Street. It was a 2-story warehouse building. We bought that, renovated that, had two recording studios in there. We had...
And not to cut you off, but that's something that's more so being done now. So what gave you the insight to do that back in 2005?
So in 2005... My background is in IT, so I've been building computers since I was 8. So because I had access to that, it allowed me to be able to circumvent the high cost.
Let's first clap it up for that. You've been building computers since you were 8 years old.
Yeah. So
I couldn't build a computer now, and I'm 35.
I was lucky enough that my pop, who if you ask me my favorite superhero is, I always tell you my pop. In the late 80s, he actually worked for an all-black bank in D.C.
Okay.
And
shout out to Pops.
When computers were coming on the scene, they didn't have anybody who knew anything about computers. So they asked, did anybody want to go? At the time, it was Radio Shack that did like computer training, and it was a Radio Shack University in California.
I'm Radio Shack years old.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm Radio Shack years old.
I remember Radio Shack.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
So they asked my pop if he wanted to go, and he was like, yeah, I'll go. So he went out there, I think it was like 2-3 months or something, and he learned all about computers or whatever at the time for late 80s, and came back and was the computer guy for this all-black bank as well as an auditor.
Nice.
So fast forward, he ended up opening his own little small computer company in the 90s, and we would go to these things called computer shows all over the DMV area. I'm from DC originally, so all over the DMV area, we go to these computer shows. And I learned all types of stuff just from being in here and seeing the latest technology and seeing what was available. So like I said, he had the business. I started basically running the business. I was building computers, like I said, since I was 8. So by the time I was about 13, I really ran the computer company.
So you got the entrepreneurial spirit from dad, and then it sounds like you mixed in your love of hip-hop, and then you opened a studio.
100% what it was. Well, what actually happened, like you said, the love of hip-hop. So I was making music and all that. Because I was able to have the access to computers, I was able to, like I said, circumvent the cost of recording. At the time, you couldn't just go get Pro Tools. You couldn't just go get, the mics and the audio interfaces and all. It just wasn't it would cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and it just wasn't available. So I was able to circumvent that because of the knowledge of computers and technology and the software and all that good stuff. So I had a mini studio in my basement. And what happened was there were so many people coming to my basement. Also, I had like a mini computer lab, and this isn't like I said, this is in 05. Oh, no, I lied. This is probably like 04, 03 when nobody even really had computers. Nobody really had the internet. I had a whole computer lab in my basement. So it would be, 10, 15 guys down there every day. And it got to the point where my dad was like, all right, come on, you got to do something. So that's when I went and got the warehouse, and he helped me remodel it, and we built everything. So we had the recording studio and all that stuff there, and I started, because of the recording studio, I always looked at what was everybody doing, and then how can I find a business angle to support what everybody else is doing. So since I saw that everybody was getting into music, it was, okay, let me do the recording studio. So then once I got the recording studio and everybody was coming through, I said, okay, well, everybody's going to need merchandise and marketing and all of these types of things.
Okay.
So I was already doing graphic design and all that. So then I started getting into, I wanted to learn about silk screening and t-shirt making. My uncle in DC worked for a silk screening shop. So I had been seeing silk screening and printing and stuff my whole life.
So you're solving problems.
Exactly. Right? That's always my business model. I look at what the problem is, and then how can I solve that. So
I like that, and that's what we're about on the show is talking about community solutions to problems. Exactly. And those are good problems to have. Exactly. So I think what I'm taking away from it is to see what the creative people around you are doing, and 100%. Then solve the problem 100%. For them, 100%. And then make it something that you're passionate about as well.
That's been my model for life. That's how I do everything that I do. I always say that anything that I do isn't really for me in the long run. It's to better someone else, and then because I'm bettering someone else, I become successful.
Major key.
That's the way I pretty much look at business and look at life. So
I like that.
So for me, like I said, I started the printing company while I still had the recording studio, and then as time was going on, and I saw the barrier to recording dropping, I saw the price. I saw, okay, there's going to be a lot of people getting into this recording thing, and I think it's more lucrative for me to be more in the marketing and promotion because that's where my background. So my schooling is communications media with a minor in computer science. So with that, I was thinking more marketing and communications and how can I access people. So I scaled back from the recording stuff and got more into the printing stuff.
Yes. And before we really quickly, before we move on, we can't leave the hip hop stuff alone. So who are you listening to locally and just otherwise?
So locally right now, Cashito Suave. Locally. Max Semi still in play.
I just seen him this morning.
Joey Costar out of Harrisburg is an Afro pop reggae artist. He's super, super dope. So nationally, Mick Jenkins, Toby Wigwe.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah, I went to go see Toby's first concert in DC. Then I saw his first concert in Philly. I'm not catch the Roots picnic next weekend to go see him again.
I'm thinking about that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go yet.
Yeah, I'm a huge Toby fan.
All right. Well, I just wanted to touch on that real quick since we're talking about music and hip hop. We are just getting started here. We're about to wrap up part 1 of RDG Soul Speak audio and visual podcast, but we will be back with part 2 where we're going to talk a little bit about politics and economic development in downtown Reading. It's David Nazario here with Brad Waples.